It began not with a bang, but with a hesitation. The planetary heartbeat skipped a beat.
Inertia is the first law and the first executioner.
Steel groans under a force it was never designed to hold.
The ground stops. The air does not.
Nature is stripped bare in a blink of an eye.
Deep below, the brakes are applied with fire.
The oceans obey the law of motion, refusing to halt.
Fragility becomes the only constant.
Our eyes in the sky drift into the void.
Flight becomes an impossibility. The horizon itself begins to charge forward.
Safe havens become crushing traps. And then, the great silence falls. The air itself forgets how to flow.
Stationary objects break the sound barrier.
Friction turns the breeze into a furnace.
Liquids are stripped into vapor instantly. History is erased by granular bombardment.
Machines built for wind are destroyed by it.
Storms are unraveled into straight lines of chaos.
Every grain of sand becomes a bullet.
Gravity loses its monopoly on mass. A scream that outruns its own echo.
Roots fail against the atmospheric drag.
Streets become particle accelerators.
The very ground is peeled like skin.
A cold world, burned by invisible heat.
And then, the water answers.
The planet's skin begins to tear.
Friction becomes a geological weapon.
Mountains bow down to physics.
Solid ground turns to liquid fear.
Ancient fires are awakened.
Infrastructure snaps like dry twigs.
The equator collapses under its own weight. The abyss
opens its mouth wider.
Cities dance their final rhythm.
Pressure turns stone into light.
The hills themselves begin to migrate. The underworld is crushed by silence. Earth exhales darkness and fire. Continents drift in seconds, not eras. But the land is not the only victim. Gravity reclaims its debt from the equator.
The coastlines do not just retreat, they vanish.
History's lost fleets are exposed to the sun. Mountains that never knew air now breathe.
The poles become the new deep.
Architecture is crushed by the weight of a new sea.
Nations are redrawn by rising tides. A crystal desert grows where whales once swam. Atlantic and Pacific meet on land.
The air follows the water.
Lights of the deep go dark. Leviathans of war are beached and useless. Every drop seeks the pole.
Unburdened, the crust begins to rise. A new silence settles over the north.
Two hells created from one home.
The sun becomes an unblinking eye of fire. Life withers under the relentless gaze.
The oceans ascend into the sky.
Concrete cities turn into kilns.
Crossing the line into eternal shadow.
Motion stops. Order creates ice. The air itself freezes and falls. Veins of the city burst from within.
The fluid world becomes solid stone. Border is a storm that never ends.
The last artificial lights surrender. The engine of life shuts down.
Warmth bleeds into the infinite vacuum.
A planet divided creates a silent tomb. Life retreats to the gray edge of existence. The border is guarded by storms that never sleep.
The atmosphere itself begins to snow down. The cosmic shield thins to a whisper.
We bury ourselves to outlast the sky.
Artificial suns feed the last harvest. Nature activates its oldest contingency plans.
A sunset that stretches into eternity.
The moon watches, a lonely witness.
The planet exhales its warmth one last time.
Chaos is frozen into perfect order. Too much energy becomes a poison. The air thins, and silence grows louder.
Stone cannot withstand the constant noon.
The blue marble is now an unblinking eye.
Time passes, but the shadow refuses to move.
The wind becomes the planet's circulatory system.
Stagnant oceans revert to a primordial soup.
The sun bleaches the memory from the stone. In the shadows, the fungi inherit the earth.
The air itself turns to glaciers of blue ice.
Plants bow eternally to the fixed light. A storm that has raged for 1,000 years.
The stars are nailed to the vault of heaven.
Life armors itself against the radiation. The old world is preserved in a crystal museum. The aurora weaves a crown for the twilight. Cathedrals of salt rise from the heat. Our machines watch, confused by the stillness. One planet, two different eternities. The heart of the planet beats no more. Cities are vitrified into glass monuments. History is frozen in a nitrogen tomb. A sea without tides is a mirror without flaws. Even the clouds have turned to stone. Life forgets the rhythm of day and night. The shield is down. The universe pours in.
One black line marks the end of the spinning age.
When the world stops, does time truly continue?
A broken gear in the celestial clockwork.
Stasis is the enemy of evolution.
We only appreciate the spin when it's gone.
Movement is life. See the unseen.